Hello, we talk about how to make use of the conditional statement in our JavaScript. And today we are going to continue from that where we stop. We see how we use conditional statement to be able to calculate the score for student to here. We calculate the score. We also determine what the student will grade. That is where we stop in the last class. It gives you there a different type of degree there. Some are admitted to the College of Education, Polytechnic admission, and so on. So that is what you can do with the if statement in JavaScript. So the next thing we are now looking at today now is going to be the next section, which is how do we make use of the loop structure in our JavaScript. And when we are talking about the loop structure, we say loop structure are are used to repeat a one or more line of code until a condition is being satisfied. There are some times that you may want a particular line of your code to be repeated several times. You can use a loop for structure. Imagine for example like this now, I want something like this button. I want to design an HTML code, then code to display three different buttons like this. So instead of using button tag three times, we can make use of the loop to be able to repeat this code three times. That is, the code that generate this button, a loop can repeat it three times. So you can use the loop structure to repeatedly execute any lines of code for as long as the condition we specify in that particular loop is met. So the JavaScript support three type of loop. Start from while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So when we are talking about the while loop, a while loop is used to repeatedly execute a block of code till condition evaluate to true. That is, when you are using the while loop again, every code is going to be executed as long as the condition in your while loop is execute to true. And one thing while loop does is that e always check the condition you specify before it will execute a statement. So once that condition is true, while loop execute a statement. And to use a while loop, we have to specify what you call we have to follow this particular syntax. The syntax here say we see while conditional expression. Conditional expression will be expression that can return true or false. If the conditional expression here is true, the statement that follow the while loop here will be execute. Like for example now, we have k is equal to 1 here. We now say while k less than equal to 10, that's a condition. If you look at the value of k here is 1, it means while the value of k is less than 10, which is true because value of k is 1, system should document the right mean, write what is in k, which is print what saw in k. Let's assume this one is 5 now, because this type of this code is going to display number from 1 to 5. K is 1 now and 1 is less than 5. Document the right is going to write value of k, which is 1. After that again, it will now add 1 to k here and k become 2. Do you get now? Because this statement here simply means that I want to say k equal to k plus plus 1 like this. That's what it means. Which means you can say k equal to k plus 1. If k is 1 and I say 1 plus k become 2. The 2 is going to store in k now. That means value of k is 2. One value of k is 2. The loop will come back to this while here again. Say k is now 2. Is 2 less than 5? Yes, it will print value of k, which is 2. After that again, it will come and add 1 to k, which is 2 now. K become 3 and it store 3 in k and return back to this while again and say now k is 3. Is 3 less than 5? Yes, it will print 3 by saying write 3. Add 1 to 3, making k to be 4. It will come, is 4 less than 5? Yes, it will print 5. Add 1 to 5, k is become 6. It will come back here to while again and say is 6 less than 5? No. Is 6 equal to 5? No. That means the loop is no longer true again. That means anything that follow this closing brace here will be execute. So that means that is the end of the loop. So at the end of the day, you must have skip you might have seen the value of k appear as 1 to 5. If I'm going to implement this one again now, can I set up another code here? this time around now they are going to use to implement that. So that code can be something like this. I create first HTML page here so that I can implement all this particular functionality. So, and this is going to be what I call loop.html. Okay, that is it now. Loop.html. So in this loop.html, I'm going to be using some of this button. Where is the button get result? Okay, I'm going to duplicate this section here. Okay, so and that's going to be button for 3 loop 2 and 3. So here now I'm going to add the first button here. Then I'm going to say well while loop. Then I'm going to be while loop now. Okay, so and here now I'm going to go get while loop. There'll be function for that. Second one is going to be what do while loop. Okay, and then go to what get what do while get. Okay, get do while. Okay, and the third one is going to be what get for. That's the for loop. I just prepare this one for all the loop. That's going to be what for loop now. A for loop. Okay, these are all the 3 loops. So after that again, all the remaining elements here I can remove them here now one by one. So and this is where the 3 loop is. I can remove all this one now. Okay, up to this one by one. Okay, so this page is not designed for what? For loop. Okay, so and this question here too for the same loop. So let's see how this loop look like. When I preview the code loop here, very good now. So I can see all these particular 3 loop here now, one by one. Okay, so and the title here is going to change too. The title here is going to change. So in this section here now, okay, so can have using a loop structure, using loop control structure. Okay, using loop control structure, that is it. So here now I go to loop control structure, and that's the title here, loop control structure. Okay, so that's it. So this particular Google map here, I can remove this section here now. So I save this page, and what does the page look like? Okay, that is it now. So these are the loop we want to implement one by one now. We have for loop, while do. So the next one now is to create a JavaScript section for this page now, where we are going to be writing all this particular loop. So here now I'm going to call it loop.js. So I can now create a JavaScript file called loop.js inside the script here. If I say loop.js, that is it. So the first thing is going to be to create a function for the first loop, which is function get while loop now. Okay, so you're going to be here. So the code we have here on our slide there, I can copy this code and paste it to see how this code is going to be to run. So I copy the code and I return back here again. Now I pasted this code. I can make just few correction. Number one, this arc will be var k now, because this is a variable k is just to store number 1. That's what this one means. That means because we want this program to print the number from 1 to 5. Since the loop is starting from number, that's why I say k is equal to what? To 1. And again, I want to be increasing the value of this k. I'm now saying why k is 1. and it is less than 5. If this condition here is true, system execute the instruction inside this particular loop here, and the instruction here is to print what? K, value of K, which is what? 1 here. That's why we have document.write K. After document.write K, we now say what? K plus equal 1. That is, add 1 to K and store it in K. If K is 1 and I add 1 to it, K become 2. And that will now go to store in K. That means content value of K as well has changed. Let me send it right now. Okay, so now, so I was saying now, this particular okay, so this particular code is going to return the value of K 5 times. So now, if I save this particular page here now, I save this JavaScript here. Wow. So I save this code there now. Good. So I'm now trying to preview the outcome. That means I need to click on while loop now. So clicking on while loop, can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want to display this information in a way that going to be readable, I can put this particular value of K in my HTML tag here. If I say H2 now, or sorry, H3 to display it, okay. I can now say what? Plus K here. And again, I will say plus K again and also display the closing tag for H3 here now. So which means that I want the value of K to be printed on the different lines here now. So if I make K to be to be 10 here, that means this is going to to execute this instruction 10 times. Then I'm going to print the K value of K one by one. If I return back here now, I click on get loop again. You can see that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I refresh this page again and click on this again, it say 5 times, but instead of 10 times. Okay, K less than equal. Okay, I did not save it. So I have to save this code here now and return backward here. And I click on get while loop. You can see it now print K 5 times. What about if something like is a message I want to display? If there's going to be a message, I can still use the same information to print that message more than once here now. So I can have something like this here, and let me comment this one that print value of K 10 times. I can ask maybe the message I want to display now go to be maybe God bless Nigeria. I can have a variable that store that message. I say var message now equal to God bless Nigerian. Okay, that is it. And I click on semicolon here now. That is it. So for this message to appear now, I will replace the message with the K here now. That means the value that is in this particular message, system should print it based on the number of times this particular K will go. So once I save this here now, and I run this particular code here again, you can see that appear 10 times. And that's why we say that we use the for loop to be able to repeat a particular to repeat the execution of a statement for as long as the condition evaluate to true. We want the condition return to false, the for loop will store the execution. One more example is this. What if I want to display a particular the HTML element too? Maybe something like a button. Let's see how that one can be done, or any image too. I can come down here instead of this H I can say HR2. HR is a tag, button is a tag. I can say button, okay. And here now I close the button here now. Okay, now that is it. So what do I want in this button? Maybe God bless Nigeria. That means this is going to be message inside the button. So if I want the message in the button to become what? Maybe what? We we change we change lives at New Horizons. New Horizon. So here now I can save this place and run the code again here, and this is what we get. You can see that means this button appear 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's exactly what this particular one does. So maybe if it is just a short message I want to put there again, that's still possible. Do you get it now? So or I want the key to be here. That means value of k, it can be 1. If I'm creating a button that I'm going to display a number from 1 to 10 again. So that is what the while loop word does. While loop repeats the execution of an instruction for as long as this condition here is true. Once the condition in this particular while loop is true, it execute the code we have inside the while loop braces. But the next type of the loop we have is what we call do while loop. Do while loop also work like a while loop. The do while loop is a conditional statement that will first execute the instruction before it will test for a condition. And that's why the do while loop always execute at least once, even though the condition evaluate to false. If the condition here is false, the statement is already execute up here. And that's what the do while loop is. But do while loop also implement the same functionality or the same task performed by the while loop can also be executed by the do while loop. But there are some times that you may want system to first execute its instruction before it will test for a condition. Then you can decide to use do while loop. Let's see how to use do while loop to implement the same task we perform by while loop here now. So if I return backward to here again, I can have another function again called function get do while here now, and then I open the brace and close it. But first thing, I must return back to here and check whether I already have a button that will trigger that function. Yes, there's a button that will trigger the function called get do while. Good. So now you can see the same type of code inside this particular while loop here. I want to use it for the do while. See what I change from this particular code again. Remember say do while loop first execute an instruction before it tests for a condition here. So I change this particular message to we change lives. Okay, undo, we say we change lives. Okay, that is it. And here now, instead of y here, this one going to be removed as y. It will now become do in lowercase letter. And at the end of the closing braces here, I will now put y here with semicolon. Okay, with semicolon. Can you see? So it means that this time around now, I want this particular do while loop. I want to use it to print maybe a HR line about 5 or 10 times. I can turn this one to HR here like this. That's HR tag. Okay, and I will remove all the code that follow this one here now. So this one simply means that I want to print the HR line how many times here? Maybe based on the number that is there, which is k less than equal to 10. That means that HR time go to appear 10 times. Because normally in ATM, I will keep pasting the tab HR. So when I save this particular page, I can now test the button do while. You can see now, that is it. Make it I want this chair to look more attractive again. Some of its attribute can be applied here. By come down here and apply the size attribute here and say equal to in single quote 10. Okay. After that, I can say color now. Color equal to what? I say what? Green. You can see again now. And that is it. So when I save this particular one page, so let me see what I get for what? For this. When I say get do I, can you see again? Maybe I can increase the size again. So I save this and then I can now preview the one page here again. You can see now that is the one I use for the loop to do. This is normally horizontal line that display 5 times. So and whether you want to repeat whatever tag or whatever task you want to perform, this can be done with it. Maybe for example now, as you want to display odd, let's say I want to return number from 1 to 50. I change this one to 50, but this time around now, I want this particular code to display the odd number. What I need to do, I change this one to 2. Remember, this become 2. It means what? The number is going to be increasing by 2. For example now, when system print the 1 and I add 2 to 1 become 3. If the loop come again now, it add 2 to 3 become 5. If the loop come back here again, you add 2 to 5 become 7. At the end of the day, we are going to be seeing what? The number that refer to as what? Odd raw number. That is it. But this time around now, I will uncomment this particular code so that instead can be printing the value of k. So when I save this page again and I return backward here again, you can see these are the odd number from 1 to 50. You get now. So if it is a even number you want this particular one to generate, I just increase this one to 1 or 2. That's just logic here now. And I save it again, and this one now turn to what? To the even number. So which means that what? With the loop, you can keep repeating a particular task. Even though I can use this one to implement what you call what? A table multiplication here now. If this one become 1 again here now, and now say what? K multiply by 5. So I just put so like here now. I will just put this one in the bracket here, and I also will close the bracket here. So this one means that what? System is going to return what? The k multiplied by 5, and that is going to start from what? So system is going to return k multiplied by 5. Do you get now? And that's going to be k multiplied by 5 from 1 to what? 20. You can want it to stop at 20. As long as k is not equal to 20, system will not stop multiplying the value of k by 1 by 5. But this time around, don't forget again, this start to be increased by 1 again. You can go to be 5 times 1 to 1 to 20 now. So I'm going to implement this functionality again here now. You can see this is 5 times 1, 10, 5 times 2, 5 times 1, 5, 5 times 2, 10, 5 times 3, 15, up to what? 20, which is what? 100. So this is how we can also use what? The loop called what? A do-while loop. Difference between do-while loop and the while loop is that what? In the do-while loop, the statement is going to execute first before system will check this what condition. Do you get it now? While in the while loop, condition is going to check one first before system execute all the statement. Okay, so let me save